Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Yeah, it's your man, I Make Mad Beats, live from outer space and Unapologetic Studio. Today, welcome to another episode of The Luxurious. Shout out my man Pro, The Majestic, shout out me. Tight Beat Podcast is about all things producer, all things hip hop, all things whatever we want to talk about as producers in the game. And behind me is my cast.
LJ1S.
Unique.
Kid Maestro.
We've been calling him Kidrick La Maestro. Yo, man, what are we talking about, bro?
Yo. First, salute to the homie C-Mage. Not here at the moment.
Period.
Had to take a business trip. But you know, we here. We gon' do what we do. So hip hop. You know, the beef's been going on. Drake, Kendrick. A lot of talk's been happening, but one in particular. So one topic is hip hop dead?
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, we on that again.
Here we go.
Okay.
Man, the machines, the man behind the machines.
Gender neutral man. You know what I mean?
And period.
Yep. Technology has come a long way. So I'm just wondering, have we bridged that gap to where we can clearly say the machine itself matters? And then we have templates. How important are they? How frequently are you updating your template? Yeah, I feel like this is solid.
Where we starting, sir?
Hip hop, man. You know, I feel like that's the birth of all of us and what we do and what we love.
Is our parent dead? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, you know,
Like
like what's up? What's going on?
So where is this coming from? Why
Alright.
are you saying
Let's
that?
go.
You should quote.
Yeah, I'm finna pull it up right now.
Point, man. Let's get to the point.
Yeah.
we need some
I got you.
backstories behind this.
All right, so the homie, one of the OGs, legendary Questlove.
The older G's.
Yeah, in regarding to all of this beef between Kendrick, Drake, and the industry, apparently, Questlove had some words. He said, "Nobody won the war. This wasn't about skill. This was a wrestling match level mudslinging and takedown by any means necessary. Women and children, in actual facts, be damned. Same audience wanting blood will soon put RIP posts like they weren't part of the problem. Hip hop is truly dead." How do y'all feel about that?
How you feel about it?
All right, well, me personally, I hate that statement. That hip hop is dead, like, because I feel like that it diminishes what people are doing. And I feel like when people tend to say that statement, they're only looking at it from one degree, from one angle. But to say hip hop is dead is like you're not acknowledging the people who are still out here representing this and doing this to the fullest. Like a Rhapsody, you know, to me, she's hip hop. Or even on our team, a Pro, he's hip hop. Awful, he's hip hop. So like to say hip hop is dead when there's clearly, at least from where I stand, music that I feel still represents hip hop to the utmost.
I kind of see where he's coming from in a standpoint of like oh
There you go.
oh period. But yeah, I kind of see where he's coming from, like as in like nobody's gonna take like real lyricists serious anymore after they're just gonna think it's just all about beef and stuff, and shit is gonna just turn into the streets when there's, you know, different versions of hip hop out there. But I may be wrong in the way I'm looking at it. But yeah.
I feel like it depends on when he think hip hop died. If this was like a thing that killed hip hop, I feel like that's kind of, I want to say hypocritical, because beefs was happening in the past and people was actually getting hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, was hip hop dead at those points?
That's yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and so I feel what he's saying about like, about how this, I feel his opinion on this not being about just like the skill of rap, who's the better rapper, but it brought in people's families and, you know what I'm saying, like all kinds of stuff. It was more about narrative, right, rather than rap skill. I definitely feel him on that, but that being the killer of hip hop, either that's not really true, or it's been dead. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, Well, actually, as I'm listening to you say it like that, like, damn, I'm kind of backtracking off my answer when I cannot really say that, that is dead because, like, what do we really consider to be hip hop? Like, it's all kinds of versions of what we individually consider to be hip hop. So
Right, and
I do also think it's on an individual basis.
Yeah. And even in that statement itself, like it's multiple layers to hip hop.
Yeah.
But it's also to say hip hop is dead. It's like now we diminish what Killer Mike just did
Yeah.
with his
yeah.
album and the Grammys and stuff like that. It's like,
Yeah. Like,
why this one thing all of a sudden now hip hop is dead?
Well, from that perspective, I mean, because I already said like I don't.
Yeah.
Based off his statement, it either been dead or that's not fair to Kendrick and Drake. But I think why this thing is because Kendrick and Drake are both bigger than Killer Mike. Like they're more people pay more attention. And shout out to Killer Mike,
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Doing what he did, but
Of course.
way more people are still paying attention to Drake.
course.
And so those are like the spokesmen of the culture, the main spokespeople of the culture right now.
Real quick. Shout out to everybody checking us out on Twitter/X. The last couple of weeks we've seen a significant audience from that platform. So if you're checking us out over there, please, tap in with us, leave a comment, respond, let us know how you feel. Yeah. My bad, y'all. Keep going.
Yeah.
Period.
Yeah, for sure. So that's how I would answer that is because like, at least right now, and specifically not right now, you know what I'm saying? Like, Pro isn't like the representation or the face of this culture yet. You know what I'm saying? Like that's part of what we're building. Killer Mike obviously has a much larger brand and it has grown significantly, I think, in the past, 3 years.
Yeah,
But
definitely.
it's still nowhere near, you know what I'm saying? Like when Drake,
Right.
who is like literally named the artist of the decade, and Kendrick Lamar, who still to this day is like considered hip hop's golden child. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but even with that, so like now all of a sudden are we limiting hip hop to what mainstream says?
I think it's like it's just kind of like top down leadership. Like if you're looking at the top, like what the top ideally or in theory, the best are supposed to be at the top. And I think it's an argument with those two people that, they are, in some ways better than everybody else. You know what I mean? Like that is the conversation that they're in.
Right.
Who's the best? Top,
Right.
This is like literally a top 3 conversation. So I think in our case, yes, they are kind of representing all of us as a whole. And people can rise up and, what I'm saying? Like obviously it's multifaceted, but
Right.
I think it is not unreasonable to speak on the state of hip hop using the biggest artists of hip hop as like kind of like
Yeah, where
where things are headed.
Yeah.
That always been odd for me, just in the sense that like I truly don't believe when hip hop was like birthed, it was created to be a mainstream thing. So it's like now for that to be the measuring stick of it, I don't know. I just never looked like, especially at a certain age, I never looked to the radio for my fix on hip hop.
Yeah, but like where should people look to get a gauge on the state of hip hop?
I feel like, at least in the origins of my understanding of hip hop, your community, the people around you, even because hip hop was bigger than just music. And again, and this is my honest opinion, I don't believe when hip hop was created, the intentions was to be mainstream. I feel like it was birthed out of, in a sense, desperation, of trying to figure out avenues for the people in poverty and stuff to find ways to get the arts to express themselves through, because they didn't have the means to. That's why hip hop, you lean on sampling and stuff like that, because most of them didn't have the instruments to create.
I think that though, that took a turn when, the people who were participating in it decided, I want to make a living off this. And then, enter like the business, and like those people who may not have started out, in order to be popular, like what they were doing authentically, took the culture to the number one paid attention to thing in the world. And so that's just a byproduct of people being like genuine, and then there's people like trying to take advantage of that and ride the wave, and that added a whole lot of other stuff. But at least at the people we're talking about, like we're talking about Killer Mike,
Right.
you mentioned, we're talking about Drake, we're talking about Kendrick Lamar, and like J. Cole, right? So of all of those people, now people will probably debate because of his brand now, but I truly believe all of those people like got into the game truly caring about the craft, like, and really building their skill. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the intent. Like, they are the examples of when you do that, like, you can really, you know what I'm saying? So I don't know. I just view them as like, actually, you know what I'm saying, the top performers of the craft.
Right.
And like, yes, there are like local people who are probably just as good or can get there, you know what I'm saying, in terms of notoriety. But for us to have like large scale conversations,
right?
Because we're talking about Questlove, like it just, this is, what I'm saying, Questlove don't live near us, like,
of course,
you know what I'm saying. So he's not speaking on like the Memphis,
right?
Like the people like literally only around us. Like, we're all talking about like this is, this was a global battle. You know what I mean? So,
and even with, I guess, even with that regard,
Marcus,
like,
what up?
Even with that regard, if we're, what's up, family? If we're talking about the Kendrick and the Drakes, and you're judging it, like, what in particular within it? I guess it would be great to ask him, but like, what within this battle would make it be like, this isn't hip hop?
Yeah. Now,
I feel you on that,
because even like, it was a lot of back and forth and the gospel, whatever, but we'd be lying to say that it wasn't artful. We'd be lying to say that the way it was demonstrated and displayed wasn't hip hop. Like, the lyricism, the way they flipped, even the gospel, whatever, the way they approached it, the angles of the diss, like, that's hip hop.
Yeah. So I don't agree that it's dead. Just to be clear, just to remind everybody.
No, definitely. It's very much alive. Very much.
I don't agree with that part, but I can see. I was answering a different,
I got you.
Junt.
It's crazy
Yeah,
because
I don't
put
know.
a whole honey.
Man, what you thinking? Like,
Man. So, as always, I'm going to provide the OG perspective.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? I remember when Nas said hip hop was dead. He named his album Hip Hop is Dead. And, everybody, it was a big debate. It was hip hop dead? Who was Nas to say hip hop is dead? But what about this person and that person? How can hip hop be dead if this person is doing this? Blah, blah, blah. And, I would say a year, it was so many debates. I was in college. There were so many debates on like hip hop, just like this conversation. And the outcome of it was people trying to prove hip hop was alive, right? I'll never forget when Nas said that. You had people like Ludacris, who was just known for like radio cool sounding hits.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Actually be like, hip hop ain't dead, watch this. And then you heard Ludacris spit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then I heard rappers from who you would never think like lyricism. Like they would go out and be like, nah, hip hop's not dead. We just out here getting this money. Watch this. And then they would show you the skill. You know what I'm saying? They would show you, essentially like they would do their parallel to the fact that T-Pain can really sing.
yeah.
But he was using auto-tune.
Yeah.
But rappers were doing that. Okay, we've been making hits, but we can really rap.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And there was a clear campaign afterwards to prove Nas wrong. And to me, that made Nas like Nas, like Nostradamus, like you know, man, I'll never forget, bro. In the Matrix, in the first iteration of the Matrix, Neo went to go and see the Oracle, and he asked, and you know, the Oracle says, "I'm sorry, kid, you're not the one."
Yeah.
Right? And so Neo walks out of there feeling like, okay, I'm not the one, right? Now, you know, sometime later, you know, Neo essentially does some miraculous stuff that only the one can do. And he goes to Morpheus and he says, look, Morpheus, the Oracle said I'm not the one. And Morpheus says, well, the Oracle isn't here to tell you the truth. The Oracle's here to tell you what you need to hear.
Period.
Okay.
Right? So when I see people say things like hip hop is dead, I mean, 20 years ago we saw this already. Nas said it, and then everybody said, nah, hip hop's alive. Skill. Lyrics. And here we are today. Questlove says hip hop is dead,
And amp
and
niggas up again.
everybody is trying to prove that it's alive, and that is good for hip hop.
You know, I wonder if like,
I fuck with that.
because I definitely remember the Nas,
Yeah, that was crazy.
Yeah.
the
It
Nas
was-
doing that era. But Nas was like considered one of the greatest rappers, you know, to ever do it.
Yeah.
I wonder if like people are gonna respond with that same level of like needing to prove Questlove wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Probably not. No, probably not. But
Unless
I mean,
someone else says it.
yeah, unless
Yeah.
somebody furthers what he said. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Questlove is definitely not at the social profile that Nas was in the early
Right.
2000s.
Right.
You know, at that time, the greatest album of all time, of hip hop all time, was attributed to Nas, which was Illmatic.
Yep.
And so, nah, there's no way Questlove is to 2024 what Nas was to that time. But it's still going to spark some conversations.
Yeah.
And you know, I think just to go specifically into what he's saying, I do think that there is like, you know, there's something to be said about. Okay, so just to kind of maybe push back on what you were saying earlier, LJ,
Yeah.
about like, okay, well, what about Rhapsody and what about this person and that person, blah 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 blah. You know, when somebody says hip hop is dead or even like chivalry is dead or you know all these things are dead, they're not saying nobody does it anymore.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They're saying the general sentiment of it as a, you know, some larger level, potentially national or community level movement, the trajectory is headed downward. That's what they're saying. They're saying it's not growing anymore, it's dying. You know what I'm saying? So yes, there's always going to be somebody rapping and doing it the right way according to the hip hop
Right.
OGs. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think what he was suggesting is that, you know, there's that in his eyes there is a clear trajectory to suggest that hip hop as he knew it is no longer the thing. You know what I'm saying? You know, I don't think he's right or wrong. I think he's entitled to his opinion.
Right.
I also think that I'm entitled to my own opinion,
For sure.
but I also leave space for the fact that Questlove is more of an OG than I am and know more about what's happening behind the scenes than all of us combined.
Facts, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so with that being said, I'm not going to act like he don't know what the fuck he talking about.
Of course not.
Yeah.
Of course not.
He
Yeah.
just has a
Yeah.
perspective. And from my viewpoint, which is not his, I have my own, you know?
Right.
So,
on the conversation of like being sparking like Nas sparking a shift, right? And you know, Questlove sparking conversation around this and the fallout from that. I wonder. Well, no, I don't wonder. It makes me want to kind of acknowledge how like Kendrick has done this like multiple times.
Bro.
Like when he dropped the Control verse,
Yep.
yeah.
it just like got everybody like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like people like,
It's
hell no,
always-
I rap, you know what I'm saying? Like, and you know, this beef, like, you know, Kendrick's been gone and, you know, a lot of that is unforgivable. You know what I'm saying? But
Very much so. Very much so.
But the way he came back and is just making like a part of everybody talking again about, you know what I'm saying? Like I just feel like I gotta give him his props because
Facts.
like in one way or another he keeps doing this.
Yeah.
Facts.
Okay. I was waiting on you to finish this statement. Are you finished with that statement?
Yeah.
Okay. So let me fire back on that. Again, as the OG, like when Jay dissed Nas, you know why Jay dissed Nas? I mean, aside from all the like personal baby mama, this and that, blah blah blah. I tried to get the rights
Rockefeller Records
cleared,
was
all that
crazy.
stuff. Besides all of that, the real reason, in my opinion, the real reason why Jay felt comfortable dissing Nas that way is because he thought Nas was out of here. That's the thing, is if you weren't around at that time to understand the context of what was happening, like everybody thought Nas's career was headed downward. Like this is like ever since Illmatic and It Was Written, Nas ain't good no more. Now he doing terrible songs with P. Diddy and you know what I'm saying? And just he's out of here. You know what I'm saying? The greatness that we thought was Nas is no longer popping like that.
Okay.
Then Jay dissed him. Jay woke up Nas. Nas came after him and niggas realized like, wow, Nas ain't out of here yet. You know what I'm saying? And Jay-Z revived Nas's career. Jay-Z gave Nas a reason to show people who Nas really is. That's what Drake did. That's what Drake did. Drake gave Kendrick a reason to show. Everybody's just talking about Kendrick right now, not just because Kendrick decided to show up. We're not celebrating an album he decided to put out on his own.
Yeah.
We're responding to him responding to somebody who could bury him because he's the most commercially successful rapper ever.
Yeah.
And so he had to come back with axes and swords and tanks. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think, but what I'm saying is like when Kendrick raps on some Kendrick shit, it just makes everybody care about it. Is what I'm saying.
and I know that's what you're saying. Yeah. What I'm saying is, why did Kendrick rap on some Kendrick shit? Because he didn't do that on his last album. Why?
Yeah.
Like, why? Yeah. What made him decide to come at this level of fury?
Is that first person shooter song?
And that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Which
I
which I also have to attribute to J. Cole. I feel like Drake didn't say nothing about Kendrick in that whole song. I really feel like that was J. Cole.
No. But I think this is a long time feud. I think it's such a long time feud with so much context that the fact that Drake didn't say him was Drake saying him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think it was by omission. I think
The fact that he allowed it.
But I also think it's easy for Kendrick to look particularly sensitive if you don't know the length of this issue. Right. If you're just looking at like, oh wow, Kendrick got offended by first person shooter and now he's firing back. Right. Well then if that was the real case, Kendrick might be the most sensitive man in hip hop I've ever seen. Right. Because that was like not a diss.
Right.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
No, they've been trading blows for
a long time.
For a minute.
For a long time. Absolutely.
For real.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
But it was Drake that made him say, oh, hold on, bro. Alchemist, send me a beat.
I respect that perspective.
Shout out to Alchemist.
Yo, big shout out to everybody, you know what I'm saying, in the chat. Big shout out to my man Gus. Big shout out to Alexis. Big shout out Midas. We see you know what I'm saying?
Period.
Gus said, you know it's going to get good when somebody mentions a Matrix comparison. Exactly, Gus. That's what I was thinking. You know what I mean? Yeah, Midas says iron sharp as iron. You know what I'm saying? Alexa says hip hop is on life support, hospice care.
Damn.
What?
Damn.
What is the life support? Like what?
Yeah.
Who's the IV or what is the IV?
Drake and
hip-hop
Kendrick,
right
apparently.
Tylen says, I'm sneaking and listening before I go on stage. I've been waiting for y'all to speak on this turmoil in the rap community. Yeah, man. That's what's up.
Man, much success
Shout
to
out.
your set,
Shout
bro.
out.
Yeah,
Big facts.
represent, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but
Also, I just got to say, because obviously the whole world is saying Kendrick won, and I'm not really arguing that, but y'all are playing Drake on the Hard Part 6. He was rapping, bro.
Absolutely.
That was a hard track.
absolutely.
Big
And y'all are acting like it wasn't.
It was.
Definitely was. I can't speak. I haven't listened to it yet, so I can't even.
It was.
Damn,
It
bro.
was.
We talking about this, you ain't even heard this.
No, because this, I ain't gonna lie. After I heard the last Kendrick joint, I think I just got to the point like, all right, bro.
Nah, you know what though? I'm gonna keep it all the way real with you. I feel you. I feel
For
you.
real, cause
I'm just like, all right, bro. Y'all
this
consuming too much of my.
nigga made
I
a
got
whole
shit to do.
verse about talking to his daughter.
Nah, that shit was crazy.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, you know, as swiftly as possible.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie, bro. After Meet the Grams dropped, bro, I was like, yo, I think I'm good on this battle, bro.
Yeah.
I think I'm good on this battle, bro, because it's like, you know, and everybody's got their own opinion on stuff, man. But like, I'm sorry, bro. When you telling somebody mom that their son should die off of some shit that you can't prove and that you're only even bringing up in a battle, like if the stuff he was saying in that diss was real, well then Kendrick, you a bitch for waiting on a battle to say it. You should have told somebody this a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Like if that stuff was really happening, nah, that's not cool for you to say that. And so if you're just saying in a battle just to talk some shit, how you gonna talk some shit saying you should die? Do you know who you are, Kendrick Lamar? You might be saying that in jest, but do you know what people will do in the name of this shit you say?
Do you
That
know
is
the
incredibly
power of
reckless
the
and irresponsible. And that's exactly how our two coastal, you know, hip hop dudes that we represented ended up dead.
Yeah.
We've seen this
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
And if you a hip hop historian quoting Tupac on your fucking album,
Yeah.
and then you gonna run into then to me that you're either desperate, right? You're either desperate, something Drake said was right, and you took it so personal that you're going to scorch earth, or you're being reckless as fuck, immature and irresponsible. And so after I heard that shit, I was just like, I'm good on this shit. Y'all acting like kids, and the world is acting like kids, saying that they want to see blood. We all watch Gladiator and see my niggas say, "Are you not entertained?" And then we all felt him like, "Yeah, bro, we all here looking for blood. Something is wrong with society." But look at us. Look how many people cheered this shit on. Like we ain't seen how many rappers dead over shit much less than this.
Man.
Yeah, I think
I feel like I'm too much of an adult to be enjoying this. If I was 20 years old and I didn't understand how this shit worked, all right, cool. But like I've lived too long and seen these patterns. I can't be a part of that shit.
I definitely stopped listening after Meet the Grams. I was like, at first I was excited about hip hop. I was excited to see where it was going. And then I was like, ooh, I hope it just stays where it's at. And it didn't. And yeah, after I heard that one, I was like, okay, I'm done listening to all of them.
Yeah, it wasn't even that line that just stopped me from listening. Because even with that, like, I hear people say that, and I'm like, bro, like, because when the whole thing first started, and everyone was like, bro, when J. Cole bowed out or whatever, it was like, nah, he's smart, man, because beef is. People were acting like we're still in the era where, like, if someone talks about your mama all week, I gotta shoot at you. Like, bro, like, we currently celebrate battle rap. Like, it's a thing. These folks are getting pay-per-view shows, like, and they talk about shooting. They if you watch battle rap, you know how that goes.
Yeah.
And it's rare that you ever hear like a real incident after that. Like most of these folks, they still kick it afterwards or whatever.
Literally.
And like, yes, we know there's something between Kendrick and Drake, of course, but I never felt that it was like on some, oh man, this might be some Tupac and Biggie. Like I never had that energy to me.
Now, I've seen a couple of incidents with battle rap. I ain't gonna say I ain't seen none, but I've seen a couple incidents happen, but it's been rare. It's been a lot less than what the main industry has, given. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely feel you.
Yeah. I also think it's like, to be honest, like, this kind of conversation is pretty like is like an ongoing one. Like there's just like a desensitization to like violent junts. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like hearing like a rapper, you know what I'm saying, calling for the death of another person feels just it's like common in rap music, these days. So like I think you're right, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? We be forgetting that there's power in our words. But I think it's not just on this battle. I think that's just like across the board. Like,
yeah, of course.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it be little dudes. You know what I'm saying? We hear all the time, like talking about this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I feel you though. I mean, I'm not disagreeing with you at all. I agree, but I do think though that like, yes, while it is across the board, we can't act like everybody has the same level of responsibility regarding that. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't act like what you say is the same thing as what the president says.
Facts. Yeah.
Like this, like he doesn't have more of a responsibility to be eloquent about his words and the way he says and he focuses things because of his potential impact. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I mean, like it's something that what do they say? The crown is heavy on the king or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And these guys are the kings. You know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, like, I'm sorry. Like, some dude down the street saying you should die, that's messed up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But 6 million kids aren't listening to that guy.
You right. Yeah.
6 million kids who don't know how serious this person is or isn't is not listening to that guy.
Yeah.
They are listening to Drake and Kendrick. Like,
Well, I'm speaking more on the level of like a King Von. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, it's definitely not as many people listening to Drake or Kendrick. I mean, listening to King Von as Drake or Kendrick, but it was still a lot.
Yeah,
and still
Or
impactful.
even
So that's really at the
XXXTentacion.
level I'm thinking about. Like, you know what I'm saying?
But even in that, not to cut you off, but like even in that, like the life that King Von lived was completely different than a Kendrick or Drake.
Fact.
Like King Von was really King Von. Like he was really on that.
Yeah.
So like,
Real quick. Big shout out to all the viewers. Big shout out to all the Twitter/X viewers. Y'all can really coming through right now, taking us to new levels with our viewership. That's love. Tylen says, I know we being matured, but do any of these disses make the all-time list? Absolutely. This is the wildest,
bro.
Definitely.
most like.
Definitely.
I think I saw my man Mike King on Facebook say that Meet the Grams was worse than Hit 'Em Up, and I agree.
Meet the
Wow.
And I don't know if y'all know Hit 'Em Up,
bro.
but
Wow.
Pac went in on Hit 'Em Up.
Bro.
Wow.
And that's my thing, like the hip hop is dead, like just going back to that because the
Wow.
angle of Meet the Grams, like I could be missing out on, but I've never heard like a diss approached that way. Bro, like your
was
son hits 18, he
it
has a
was-
song to like,
It was scathing.
bro.
It was
that
Bro,
was-
that's not scathing. I think you're headed in the right direction when you say scathing, but even that is not it,
Bro.
Like, and I want to give a big shout out to Alchemist. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
For doing that beat. That song sounded. I'll be honest, bro.
Eerie.
It sounded like Kendrick reached into the depths of hell to
Bro,
make that song.
like just thinking about it,
Like everything about it
For
is kind of
real.
like, I don't know, bro. Like
Some
this might be kind of
violence.
demonic, bro. Like you know what I'm saying?
bro,
Like
that
Right.
like and that's a tribute to how well or how great a storyteller Kendrick is
Yep.
and how much he can paint a picture emotionally. He's always been incredibly good at that. You know what I'm saying? But doing it with this kind of angle and then saying the kinds of things that he said, like, and that's my point. It's like he didn't just say, like I've heard rappers, let's not act like it's just about words. It's also about context. It's
Yep.
also about
Yeah.
like how much emotionally did you convey that. I've heard rappers say like, like you should die or death, blah, blah, blah. But these rappers be sounding like they playing around. Kendrick sounded like he was
Like,
holding
that
a gun
nigga,
over
man,
somebody and
what?
was saying like
Staring him
you
dead
should
in
like
your-
he was really about to kill
He
him.
paints that picture. He
Like
paints that picture.
like I really felt like I was
Felt it,
listening
yeah.
to somebody about to kill a man.
Yeah, he
You
paints
know what I'm
that
saying? It didn't sound angry in a way of like I'm trying to get off this anger. No, it sounded like no, y'all
Very
think this is a song.
intentional.
Yeah.
Aubrey should die.
Yeah,
One of you people who love me, go out and kill him. That's what it sounded like to me.
Oh.
man.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Sheesh.
And then shit started happening.
yeah.
What happened?
So two things I wanted to say to that. One is I feel like, this I mean, obviously this just kind of shows kind of what J. Cole saw coming, but I think more so on the like more general societal level, this shows what happens like when you put people in the corner. Like when you this honestly, like in the conversation around it, like it feels a lot like, the experience I've heard about prison, where you just be in such like a desperate situation to make sure that you are
Yeah, man.
perceived in a certain way,
Wow.
that you just start doing inhumane
Yeah.
stuff. Like you just kind of lose a part of society. And we definitely pushed them there because it was like, nah, like we need to see this. And then when we saw somebody take a different approach, the world at large dogged him for it. So like Drake and Kendrick saw what we said about J. Cole, you know what I'm saying, as a people. And so like I feel like this is an example of like what can happen where you just let it keep going. When you feed into that, you'll mess around and get put into a situation where you're saying and doing and have to, you know, to survive, basically. You have to go into like the deepest parts. You know what I'm saying? Of like, you know, where people shouldn't go, where
Yeah,
we
he
don't,
went to another
where
level,
we shouldn't be
for sure.
living at. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Part of me
Because
really,
and so, but the second thing I want to say is like, you know,
shout out to the chat.
I definitely feel you on like Kendrick's word choice, you know, in the context of that, the implications.
Mm-hmm.
But I also feel that way about Drake. Like, if you know, because what the things they said about each other, if they were actually true, would put them in jail. Or you know what I'm saying? Like this is like
Yeah.
life ending, you know,
Like, I
like
think-
crazy kind of, you know, situations. And like these are the shots that are being thrown out. This is the information being passed supposedly between camps. Like there's a, you know what I'm saying? Like this is a very desperate situation. So
There's some company
it's
sending
like,
up.
you know, it's like crazy.
part of me wonders though, like,
Real quick, I'm sorry.
You good?
I just want to shout out the chat, man. We can't get too far without shouting out the chat.
Period.
My man Gus says, rap beefs in the 90s. I'm going to kill you. Unintentionally glorifying you as an icon until the end of time. Rap beefs in the 2020s. I'm going to cancel you so that no one will want to remember you. I can't tell whether it's more brutal to end a life or end a legacy. That's a real. Shout out Gus. That's a real statement, man.
That's
yeah. That's real. You know what's funny, man?
For a legacy. Damn.
That
So Koza wasn't a thing back in them beats.
hold on. I'm trying to digest how real of a statement that is. When you listen to their disses, that's what they was trying to do to each other.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
They wasn't trying to. They were trying to get other people to say we no longer listening
Yeah.
to Drake
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
of this. We no longer listening to Kendrick because of this. Like, damn, that's crazy.
That's wild.
Good comment, Gus.
And that's why I was. Oh, you still going on now?
Yeah, my bad. Lee says, I certainly agree with you. Kendrick certainly warned him that if you mention my family, I'll take it there, and that's something you don't want to do. Drake was telling this man to respond eagerly on that Taylor May joint. He also says, in Euphoria, he said we can keep it friendly.
Yep.
Kylan says, hip-hop will never die. Hip-hop has always been a genre where no rules apply.
Let's go.
There's an audience for whatever you want to do in hip hop. I disagree with one thing you said, Kylan. It has not always been a space where no rules apply.
At
There were
all.
definitely rules.
Definitely.
Facts.
Especially
Absolutely.
in the beginning.
There were definitely rules. If you weren't aware of those rules, that's just because you wasn't in the streets.
That's
The
right.
streets had rules. You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
Now the streets don't have rules now. Now you out here shooting reverends and
Exactly.
respecting
And
people on the
kids
street.
and women and-
Absolutely.
Yeah,
but
back
back,
then it wasn't-
but back when it started, there was definitely
play
rules.
about shit like that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But someone, I forgot who said it, but someone spoke on what I was about to say. I don't think Kendrick approached this beef in the way that he did if Drake doesn't mention his wife. Like, I truly feel that way. I feel like if Drake doesn't talk about the Whitney and all that, like, I think it's different.
I don't think so. Because I think he been ready to unload this clip for a long time.
I think he would have. I feel like honestly, this beef, his game plan has been chipped away for a long time. I think that I truly believe that Kendrick knew about ghostwriter allegations for a long
Yeah,
time.
he been through all this stuff.
And I feel like he been like just dropping little. Nah, I can never compete with him. We two different type of artists. Type energy. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just like, yo, don't say nothing because I'm a dude. But then it came out with the Meek Mill stuff.
Yeah.
And so, like, honestly, the only other thing that I feel like he would have been ready with was the supposed hidden child allegations. But if that didn't exist, I honestly don't know what Kendrick
But that's
would have had on, bro.
I don't know, but that's my thing. I feel Kendrick is that type of artist where he'll make it work. At least from what I get from him, what I listen to him or whatever. Like, I feel like he's one of those artists. And again, if Drake never mentions his family or whatever, it's a different battle. But because of that, it's just like in the streets. You hit my family, I bet there's no rules to nothing. Everything's on the table.
I wonder what Drake angle would have been because
Drake ain't a street.
because
nigga.
that was his whole thing. That was his nuke. Was
what
all
he
the
thought.
Whitney stuff. You know what I'm saying? Push Ups was crazy with the extortion angle. I thought that was
that's what I'm saying.
that was dope.
Crazy.
But if he didn't have nothing, if he didn't have Whitney, what else would he would have? You know what I'm saying? Like
Like
I don't know, this
Drake may not be a street nigga, but he a smart nigga. Like I give him that.
Business game, yeah.
Like his business game is unforgettable. Like the way he makes connections, like something to learn from.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
But we're not mentioning someone who I think ultimately came out with a win is Metro.
Metro Boomin.
yo, no,
Yeah,
for
you know
real
what?
though.
Respect.
No, hold on.
Shout out to
time
fucking Metro.
Time out. You know what? Let's do that, man. No, let's do this. Let's do this.
Period.
Hey, man. A couple of podcasts ago, maybe 2 or 3 podcasts ago,
He said it.
we was trying to figure out, man,
Yep.
what if somebody told you to shut up and go make some drums?
He said
How
it.
does a producer respond, to a rapper dissing? Metro, it's your man, I
Shout
make
out,
mad
man.
beats. I'm live from Memphis. You know what I'm saying? I know you got a lot of love for Memphis, clearly. You know what I'm saying? I've heard you speak. Even the joint, the joint with you and Kendrick, you know what I'm saying? Definitely Memphis involved, influence. Just want to let you know, as a Memphis ambassador here and as a producer, we love and respect you for what you have
Period.
done. For not going out, you know what I'm saying? Finding
Yeah,
a way
period.
to respond in a battle rap joint without needing to go out there and drop a verse.
And you
Man,
did that.
You have given us the blueprint
Facts.
of how to
Period.
respond to these loud ass rappers. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
I love it. Thank you, Metro. I've always been a fan. I'm an even bigger fan now. Pause.
Metro literally changed the game,
Bro.
And bro, we gotta, like I said, the world is saying Kendrick won, but it was a team ass effort because the whole world is dropping Drake disses,
Bro, that's what I was.
because of
Brilliant,
Metro
bro.
Boomin.
Brilliant.
For a Metro
shout
beat, for a free for
Metro
one beat,
deserves this crown.
Bro.
If anybody
Brilliant,
won,
bro.
Metro won, and it's still winning to this day.
Metro was the most innovative.
Bro, no, facts.
So
Facts,
innovative.
bro.
That's how you use AI, bro.
Man,
Period.
that's it. Bro, how do
Use
you
the
listen to the
Aretha-
original song? Oh, my God.
It's people getting opportunities and
Yeah.
stuff off of the Metro joint
Yeah,
from
bro.
dropping they Drake verse.
Bro, it's crazy. To have you drop something and now the whole world is dissing you, bro.
A distrumental.
Bro,
That's what it
That's
says.
it.
Shout out Alexis, Instrumental.
Instrumental.
Oh, period. You feel me?
I'm honestly curious too. What is the music industry gonna be like with this, with such public industry Drake hate? These niggas not getting Drake features. You know what I'm saying? I feel like Drake is the type of person who would track everybody who dissed him, and if you ever get to a certain level, really be on something
He's that
we
petty.
don't.
Yeah.
I really
Yeah,
feel
Drake-
Yes,
Yeah.
he is that petty.
Well, it's not just. I mean, yeah, he absolutely is that petty. But Drake is also powerful.
Yeah,
He's, you know, like him and all things OVO and their influence. I absolutely expect him to be keeping tabs, and Drake is not going out. If there's anybody out there naive enough to think that Drake's perceived loss in this battle means that something is going to change and or end for Drake, absolutely not. And if you think this public sentiment is going to last any longer than 6 days, you have not kept track of how much of an attention span has decreased in
That's
American
right.
society.
Yep.
That's right.
Let me be clear. It's May. later in this summer, y'all are gonna be dancing to some new Drake song.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
Like
it.
That's right.
nothing. Like, come on. Like, are you serious?
That's right.
Y'all ain't about to remember nothing.
That's
But,
right.
but that's the thing, like Lil, you know what I'm saying, Lil Bibby. Oh, I'm not. That's not a real person. I'm making that
I
up.
was like, yo, who
I just made that up. If there is a Lil Bibby out there, I'm not talking about shit.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying, Lil Bibby or whatever,
Nah.
who was trying to get the free Metro beat. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say his career take off, bruh. I feel like Drake is like, nah, not him. Like I really feel like people like
yeah, for sure.
have assumed some unintended like
Oh, yeah.
hardship because of this like, in their
it's-
career.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's part of it. It's part of
let's
it.
see what happens, man. This is a new. I mean, a lot of this is parallel to the past, and a lot of it is new.
Yep.
So let's just see what happens, man. We are approaching the 3:00 hour, man. It would be nice if we got some other topics. You know what I'm saying?
This was one. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Big shout out. Hold on, real quick. I got to take time to shout out everybody in the chat, everybody actually saying something. You know what I'm saying? We got a lot of viewers, a lot of comments coming through. Definitely chime in. Let us know how you feel. Even if we're moving on to the next topic, if you got things you want to say regarding the whole Kendrick Lamar Drake thing, let's do it. You know what I'm saying? All right, go ahead.
We definitely can continue this chat up in the app.
Yeah, definitely. Available for iOS and Android devices. Go and search for Unapologetic
Definitely.
World. It's free. And
Definitely.
we can talk all day there.
And it ain't gonna take up a bunch of space.
And period.
84 megabytes. You know what I'm saying? It's nothing.
All right, man. Speaking of the BBL Drizzy Metro, how he used the AI
Damn.
technology,
Right.
like, bro, that was crazy. This is great, bro. But how how the AI was used, just makes me think of the technology we have. On my journey throughout this growing up, I was always told, it's the man behind the machine, not the machine itself. Have we officially crossed a threshold to where that changes, where the machine matters just as much?
This topic, let me fall back. All right, so like again, resident OG.
Yep.
I do remember a time when people were saying it was the machine. You know what I'm saying? Mostly, and they didn't mean that literally. Like they didn't think like the machine was doing the work for you, but the machine was a way to perceive how serious you were at what you do and how good you do it, and then what are the potential successes you can have. So just the idea of like if you had an NPC, you were serious. That means your drums are gonna sound good. Blah 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? Like that was a thing. In the '90s and the early 2000s. Then it went to like, oh no, we can all do the same things with whatever software or machine that we choose. Now it's the person. You started seeing stickers that say things like drum machines don't have soul. You know what I'm saying? Cool. Now I think I'm giving that context to try to understand the question. Because when you say the machine, and I asked you this before we started this, when you say the machine, do you also mean like the software, the DAW, the capabilities of the DAW, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera? Because I personally I can't think of a quote unquote machine / software that is just like, if I have it, I'm a better producer.
Yeah.
Or even that if I have it, someone would perceive me as a better producer. So tell me what exactly, like give me an example of like, because somebody has this.
Yeah, I mean, yes, the software matters. That's because ultimately that's where everything ends up, is the software now. So yes, that is included, but more so speaking on, like we were just talking about the Metro, how it wasn't Metro. Let me just give credit. It wasn't Metro that made the sample, but how AI was used. I don't think Metro responds the same way if this technology isn't available.
Sure.
So like,
I can disagree with that. I do believe it is the man behind the machine, because without that man, the machine wouldn't know how to translate what's trying to be said or the emotion that's trying to be felt through the music. Like, the impact that Metro has had even without AI still shows that, no matter the DAW, You know what I'm saying? It still shows that, like, he used the whole fucking, I think he just did a show with an orchestra. He used the whole orchestra to, you know, make a trap. It was like a trap orchestra that he had. Shout out to that. That was dope as fuck. But, yeah, I do believe it is the man behind the machine, not necessarily the machine.
The angle you presented, Mad, of formatting this question around not necessarily the result, but the perception, I think that it is very machine like heavy, what you use, but not in the way that it used to be. I think it's the opposite now. Like the less you're using, like the more lore and just like amazement I think gets attached to you. Like if you can say, yeah, I just did this on the white headphones in my phone,
Right.
like that just automatically, I've seen, just puts you in a certain category of like, oh, this person is special. And even like in the producer community, like shout out to this amazing app called Koala. I think we've all like seen the Koala sampler joint, but it's a sampler. Like it allows you to chop junts. It's even getting to the point where like people are taking other samplers like the SP404 to MIDI hook it up to the iPad to use it. You know what I'm saying? Just to be able to stay within like I use Koala, you know what I'm saying? All you need is an iPad kind of like ethos that we're like putting attachments on to that. Other samplers that you could chop samples on. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like what you're using, even in the DJ world, like I think the DJ world is probably the slowest to, in terms of like perception, is like, I feel like there's always like a strong, you need to be on turntables versus like controller. Like I think there's still a very healthy battle of like older generation, newer generation mindset in the DJ community. But even still, like I've definitely started to see the trend where like it's like, I don't know, almost like fashionable, for lack of a better term, fashionable to use like the smallest, most minimal thing possible. So I definitely think that like on the perception tip, like that does play a huge role on like, what you use in front of you, like plays a huge role in how people perceive you.
Right.
And, you know what I'm saying? And
and even and just thinking on like, especially now because everyone is so like mobile, traveling to set studio to studio, whatever. Like I think about a lot of engineers. Like I've never been in these situations, but I know before like now, maybe, you know, when Mad was, I remember you had stories when interning at Quads, like people used to bring their entire racks through and stuff like that. Like now you ain't got to do that.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to do that because the technology has upgraded so much. Like, so at least from where I stand, I think we're definitely at that space where like, the machine matters. It plays a huge part. Even going back to interfaces. Yeah, I remember Matt talking about when he used the what's that joint?
The Focusrite?
Yeah.
Terrible.
That's what I'm saying.
Terrible.
Like Mad's hatred for the Focusrite is so counterculture.
Oh my god!
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
shout out to me, man.
There's still a lot of people that use it.
To the point where
shout out to me. You know
to the point where like it's like in the right conversation with the right people, like we getting into like cancel territory. You know what I'm saying? Like, so you know what I mean? And that's what I'm saying. Like I think there's like a weird trend of like the cheapest, most minimal kind of like all I'm doing is, you know, this on this little USB mic, and it's like that's 100% a part of the narrative.
Yeah, and I think that's possible because, like we said, the technology has came so far. Like your entire SSL board now is in Pro Tools as a plugin.
So now, this is where I'm still a little conflicted on this joint, because, like, when I think about like somebody like Dr. Dre, where we know the SSL is 100% a part of his sound. I'm not like, I feel like I have to believe that Dr. Dre, you know, because he was making stuff before he was on the SSL. Yeah. But it's like these people like have made it a part of, you know what I'm saying?
It's part of
like,
who they are.
This is like now a giant. You know, I've even, you know, like Michael Brower, like he wouldn't go to the box because like if I don't got these pieces,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? I'm not doing it. I'm just gonna stay here. Like
Right.
it was almost like, I don't know how to say this. It just gives like the vibe of like he doesn't even trust that he could get the same results without these machines. You know what I'm saying?
That's what
Like,
it. But that's what I'm saying. That's what it was. Michael Brower currently is like all in the box.
Yep.
yeah, but only when he could, only after he was able to emulate those same machines. So it's still like his comfort zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't like he just settled for like, well, I'm Michael Brower. It's just me. I can figure this out with whatever plugins and
right.
just, you know what I'm saying? It was like, no, we here until it's the same as where I
Right.
was. You know what I'm saying?
But yeah,
Like,
I guess that's the point I'm making is that we've come so far to where now the machine matters. Like
I
it's,
guess-
itself,
alright.
as far as
I
the
get that.
software,
Just-
because like of course, yeah, Michael Brower he had his boards and everything like that, but technology has come so far to where like he can still get the same results that he want no matter where he is now.
I think, let me chime in right quick, bro. I feel like, as always, like these discussions, like I find that these kinds of discussions are much easier navigated once you break them down into levels. So right now we're talking about like somebody making a beat on something like this, and it's like there's a lure to that. You know what I'm saying? That's cool. You know what I'm saying? But there's a lure to that to like a specific level of this. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, but there is a level to this where somebody doing that this way is like,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like if you're in the studio, like, and there's also a like, and this reigns supreme in everything I've seen, not just music. Like, you know, it's funny. I've been working a lot with Sheena, Nubia. You know what I'm saying? And her desire to make timeless music, right? Specifically timeless music. Like she's told me that she wants to make pop music that because of the instrumentation and the way it's done, it's hard to tell when it was done because she wants it to live forever, right? Now, it's interesting how much, not perfectly, but how much that idea equates to using traditional instruments, right? Because not so traditional instruments can be directly attached to an era, a sound, you know what I'm saying? A certain part of musicianship, right? But if somebody's just playing an acoustic guitar, you don't know when that was recorded, or, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That's
Right,
just a
right,
guitar.
right.
A piano is a piano. A drum set is a drum set. That could have been 1973 or 2013. Like,
Right.
you know, now I'm saying all that to say this, like, it's also interesting how the more traditional approaches to things seem to be the ways that last the longest, right? We've seen hip hop go through many styles, right? For some reason, boom bap still exists,
Yeah, of course.
right? To the point where the biggest rappers in the game, right? They don't have an album without at least one
No, facts.
That's
Facts.
boom bap record. When they diss each other, they pulling out boom bap records. You know what I'm saying? Anytime they need to seem smart or eloquent or introspective, they pulling out boom bap records.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so I say all that to say, like, you know, shout out to like all of these things where it's like, yeah, we just did this on this little app that did blah, 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 blah. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, all the producers we've ever seen that actually lasted, like even Ninth Wonder ain't using Fruity Loops no more. You know what I'm saying? He went to more traditional, you know, approaches to things. He started using a machine, now an MPC and all these other things. He's not just sitting there with a mouse with the track line up on FL no more. You know what I'm saying? And that's the boom bap king.
Yeah.
No person in that lane represents boom bap at this point more than Ninth Wonder.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Right? And so I do say, like, okay, if you're looking at it as levels, if you're looking at like what's trendy, what's cool for producers who are looking to find an easy way to access being a producer, yes, somebody saying, I did that on my iPhone is very popping. And it's gonna resonate and people are gonna be excited about it, right? But if you walk up to Dr. Dre, you walk up to Pharrell, you walk up to people who have been doing this 10, 20, 30 years, and you walk up to the people who are doing it now, who will be doing it 10, 20, 30 years, and you say, I did this on the phone, will this be equally as impressive? No, it will not.
Right. Right.
There's levels to this.
Yeah, and you know, and I think that's what I was saying with just like, well, I guess really it's the clarification of like you're talking about software specifically, because when you say like technology or machines, like I'm thinking still about like the hardware,
Right.
you know, what I'm saying like the physical machines, and like as we go through this conversation, I feel like I honestly don't know if we ever really got out of the era of it's not the machine. I don't know.
We did. We did.
Nah, because I definitely that was definitely an era where like everything when I remember just trying to
It's
get
really
better
Neptune.
and studying, and everyone's like every interview, it's the man behind the machine. It's not this, because everyone felt like you have to have this certain. Okay, if I get this equipment, I'm going to be the next X, Y, and Z. And everyone was like, nah, it's the man behind it. It's your ability to create
I
these
was
ideas.
in that crowd. I wasn't.
We did. I'm gonna tell you how I know, bro, because I was there when it was the machine. You know what I'm saying? I was in these circles from top to bottom, whether that's like at Quad, watching Just Blaze make a beat, or just some dude down the street. Like I was there when it was about, like what you use. You don't use an MPC?
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or you don't use an ASR, you don't use
That's right.
one of these respected junts.
Yeah.
Nah, you not real. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And then I saw 10 years later, nobody cared.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I saw Just Blaze in Logic. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like I saw this happen, and then and honestly, man, you know, no one chopped down that tree or took a bigger swing of the axe at that tree than Ninth Wonder. You know what I'm saying? When with the mouse
Yeah.
in front of FL, it was over. People knew it don't matter.
Yeah.
When bro produced not Ninth Wonder, but somebody else did. What's that joint? That 50 Cent joint? There was a hit. I can't remember what it was, but it came out. He made it in GarageBand. When that came out, nobody cared.
What are you talking about?
Nobody cared. It was. I think it was something money. It wasn't Window Shopper. It was. I remember the
he
beat.
had I Get Money.
I Get Money.
I Get Money, that's what
I
it
Get
was.
Money was made in GarageBand.
That's crazy.
Yep.
But I guess so. Yeah, I feel you on that. I guess I was thinking about it more of like, no matter when people were saying that, like everybody looking at them was still just trying to go. That's when everybody was like, "Oh, I'm getting on FL." So like, it just felt like the reality of it was people still cared. It was just saying, it didn't matter, but people was still like, "Nah, I gotta get on FL." Like,
Nah, I'll push back on that. Like, I feel what you're saying. I think once people saw Ninth Wonder with FL, they were like, okay, I'm going to get on FL.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not disagreeing with that. But I also saw it wasn't just let's follow Ninth Wonder. It was on a bigger extent. Hey, wait a minute. We don't need these big ass machines. Bet. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and so a lot of people decided to follow Ninth Wonder, but a lot of people just went other places. They just said, this don't matter anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Yeah. I remember that shit. I remember that.
That's
like,
crazy.
because I was buying every machine. You know what I'm saying? Like, I remember that.
Nah, yeah. I just remember the joy of like being able to pick up a laptop and go sit out wherever and make a beat and be like, bro, this is crazy.
And I wanted to be that kid that played the instruments, and I got quickly introduced to the machine.
Okay, so we got a comment. I see. I'm gonna disagree with you, Midas. But it's not gonna be how you think. She said, "It's the same thing I say about mixing too. Consumers don't give a damn about the mix most times." Okay, see here. Okay, so now let's do it. Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it. Okay, so as always, I think I'm not saying you're wrong, right? But I think this is the discussion you got to be willing to have once you recognize there's levels to this.
That's right.
Now, if you're on the level with the playground with the kids, don't nobody care if your shirt dirty.
That's right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Don't nobody care. You know what I'm saying? Again, now, if you are trying to have a 7, 8, 10-year, 15-year career in music, if you are trying to compete with the Kendricks, the Drakes, the people who actually put a dent in this culture and will be mentioned when shit is said and done, it absolutely matters. Times 6 million. Also, and this is the part that people don't get, right? How long your music can be relevant and feel like it doesn't sound dated is 99.999% based on the mix.
Yep.
Yeah.
The other
Yeah.
0.0001% is you saying something like it's 1993. If you don't say nothing obvious about the times, the whole rest of whether or not it sounds old is the mix.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you're making candy microwave rap with the idea that 6 months from now it's going to be old, then yeah, I get why you would say the mix don't matter, right? But if you're trying to make something that 10 years from now, people are going to say, hey, put on this, and it not feel old, good luck trying to do that with no priority for the mix. Good luck. Like I said, it's levels to this. If you talking about the playground, fine. Nobody cares that you spill Kool-Aid on your shirt.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to care.
Yeah.
I'll say this, and I am very much under NDA for a lot of things. So just recognize that. But imagine like an artist like Tems, right? I recently I'm talking about like 2 days ago, I got my hands on a remix for a song a remix that might come out with an artist that is bigger or as big as Tems. And I got there, and then we needed to work on like the formatting of the verse that they submitted for this song. And I was listening. It was like 3 vocal stems. You know what I'm saying? There was auto-tune already printed. It was mostly just one stem with just like a couple like ad-libs here and there. And then the beat, right? There was that. So it was those vocal stems, the beat, the instrumental to the song that they recorded to, and then a reference of like the fully recorded thing. So I pull those in to Ableton and I'm listening to, because I'm just getting ready, because I don't know exactly what I need to do. So I'm just like making sure everything's lined up, right? And so I'm listening and I'm like, okay, yeah, this is cool. And I kid you not, there's nobody else in the room for me to have this conversation with either. My thought was, man, like it's crazy how like it just be feeling like this feels like it gave me a realization that at the top, these artists are just not trying that hard. It just kind of felt like it was like whatever, you know what I mean? And then so I'm listening to it. I have the reference muted because that's not what I need. That's not what I would be working with. But I did want to get it lined up. You know, the reference was an MP3. For those of you who don't know, when you send an MP3, it puts like a little bit of space at the beginning.
Yeah.
So it doesn't quite line up on the grid. So you got to like nudge it. So I was adjusting it just because I wanted everything in time, just in case I had to bounce something or whatever. And so now I'm soloing the reference. The reference is the beat with all of the vocals, but whoever the engineer was put it had like a rough mix to it. Bro, it transformed this bigger than Tems level artist's performance night and day. I was like, oh yeah, no, this is hard. Like,
Yeah.
it went from me feeling like this artist didn't try and just did something to like, oh yeah, this is a hard, like this is gonna gonna work for the world.
Bro.
And this would be a global kind of like reception situation. Like this, like the whole world is going to, I mean, not just America, like the whole world would hear this if it came out. Like, and it was just that reference mix of whatever they did to the vocals to make it like fit. Like it changed my perception on how hard the artist tried on their verse. So
Don't
the mix
sleep on the
matters
engineer,
for
man.
sure.
Don't
It definitely matters.
Yeah, like you said, it's levels.
Yeah.
It's levels. I've definitely heard artists like have opportunities taken away from them. Song may be good, but it wasn't mixed properly, and the mix just doesn't fit what they're looking for. But the song itself was good. Like, so yeah, the mix matters, man. The mix matters.
Yeah,
Might have said trash.
she's talking about different music. She's talking about Future. She keeps bringing up Future as it's funny. I said Drake and Kendrick,
Or
and she's
Black
bringing
Boy
it,
Jr.
and then she's talking about Black Boy and Future, and I'm just like, I'm just gonna let you keep talking. 'Cause I think you're making my point, but yeah, Midas, you want to come through, bro? You know what I'm saying? If you want to chime in on this,
Facts, come through.
Period.
because I think I'm not getting your examples or the purpose of them. I also think 10 years from now, nobody's going to be listening to none of the things you're talking about. But anyway, let's keep moving. So, yeah, we got any more topics?
Yeah, the template, the famous template. Do they matter? And if so, like, how often do you update your template?
I just updated mine.
Okay, so
Nah.
obviously,
Hold on, Midas. That's not what I said. Rewind the tape. I didn't say big artists. Nope. That's not what I said. That's subjective. I'm talking about artists. Nope, that's not what I said. Rewind the tape. I know it's on live stream. You can rewind it. Go ahead and use your thumb. Go ahead, LJ. Midas trying to fight something she ain't gonna win. Come through, Midas. You know you're gonna lose. You just don't want to lose on camera. Come on.
don't be a coach.
Don't do that. It's me, dog. It's I make mad beats. You gonna lose. So go ahead.
All right, man. The template, man.
You family, man. I don't want you to lose.
Is the template important during your sessions? How you create? Like, do you follow a template? Do you use a template, or you just blank every session, every beat,
Yeah, I mean, the template is 100% important. Like
Definitely.
that saves you so much time and like
I know
it saves you
exactly
time.
what I'm
Like
doing.
That's
it
really-
saves you time and it keeps you in a state of flow. Like when it comes down to the time to execute an idea or to experiment with something, like you get to doing the thing versus like preparing to do the thing faster, and that momentum carries like the session. So yeah, templates are a super part of what I'm doing. But I will say, as much as I just said all of that, when it comes to making beats, right now I'm not using the template because I'm developing it in my head. Like I'm building like all of the like I do this every time situation. Because I recently started to make beats without a computer, and I'm still like figuring out all of that. So I'm gathering information. So I'm doing all the repetitive stuff and figuring out like what plugins am I using every single time,
Right.
like so that I can like make a template that works. So I'm researching, but ironically I'm not using a template at all. So I am starting from scratch.
Yeah. How often do you feel you're updating your template?
Not enough. I know I don't update mine enough at all.
I would say probably every like 9 months to a year, to be honest.
Took me.
don't know.
I ain't
I'm
even gonna say how
updating.
long it took me. So I'm gonna just keep quiet on that one.
I don't know. I'm updating my, especially like my recording template. I'm updating that a lot.
Yeah.
And it's more so like I'm constantly like when I do have just some downtime, a lot of my downtime consists of like me experimenting and trying different things, different, because I'm a texture guy. So like the way I may saturate reverb or something like that, like, so I'm always figuring out, okay, does this still work for me? Do I still like this? Is this one better? Et cetera, et cetera. So like I think I go through the process of like updating my template. I want to say at least probably like 4 or 5 times throughout the year.
Yeah, I love templates. I honestly like. I try to update my template as much as possible.
Yeah.
Like that is a way. And let me be clear. Like when I say update my template, I really just mean like if I've done something and I like it, I save it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's
And so I have like different, I don't have this is my template. Like I have different versions of templates. You know what I'm saying? Like I have Mad Beats recording version 5.7. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's like, sometimes I go to 5.4. Sometimes I go to, you know what I'm saying? And it's just because like, I just find that whenever I get results that I like, I want to know how I got it. You know what I'm saying? I want to be able to go back and somehow be able to measure or see the process of how I got these desired results and be able to repeat them. You know what I'm saying? So like, I want to also be clear too. Like, I also feel like the phrase templating is a little bit more detailed and nuanced now than it maybe used to be, because now a template can just be a track.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now you can just right click on a track and apply a rack or a template for vocal recording or vocal mixing. You know what I'm saying?
Save your presets. And,
Yeah, template and presets is like two different
I feel
things
that.
to me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, I just to me, it's all the same. You know what I'm saying? It's saving settings for easy recall to repeat success.
Yeah.
You know, and so I try to update things as much as possible. Sometimes I update it on some like, okay, this is better than before, and sometimes I'm like, this is a different than before, and I want to be able to choose.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But like literally every time I mix something that I love, I lodge that into like, I want to be able to recall this. You know, and so I'm not updating just one template. I have at this point probably 30. You know.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, like I want to say like coming around here is when I like really start paying attention to my template more, in which is what has me constantly updating it, because I'm always around y'all. I'm always seeing what y'all doing, and it may spark something, and I'm like, oh, okay, the way Mad did that was crazy.
Yeah.
All right, let me see what that sound like over on stuff that I do and how would I use it or whatever. And a lot of times it'll stay, and I'm like, okay, I want to be able to. Instead of having to search, go through that session, like, man, what session was that when I did this thing? Like, so I'm constantly, like man said, I'm constantly like, okay, I fucks with that. Let me update it.
yeah, when I think about template, like I'm thinking about like mechanical workflow, like, you know what I'm saying, like getting through the making of something. You know what I mean? So, like, once I get like my recording template has been like pretty much the same. Like it'll be like stuff like, oh, I just find that I'm adding more tracks than I had available. So I'm gonna. That's something that where I'm like, okay, I need to update my starting point, right?
Yeah.
But like when you talk about the preset game, like it's particularly because you know we record through the Apollo,
Right.
like, bro, I have so many like different like chains that I pull up and for different people, and so like I, with that part in mind, like with the texture, like what things are gonna sound like. My template is more based on like, and this is why it's changing because I'm not on a computer, but all of my templates now are based on like how quickly, because the way Ableton works, because I mostly use Ableton, like the search function is super like intuitive. So I just like Command F and then I can pull up the thing, hit enter, and it's like there.
Yeah.
So like I am saving like all the vocal junts, like this is what I did on the drums for this, like this is like
Right.
a snare, like rack, like all of that is super like just all right there. And then I have all of those tagged, so like they're all like in the same place. You know what I'm saying? Like that kind of thing. So yeah, when you like reach into like the file structure part of it, yeah, it's super. That gets updated pretty often.
Yeah.
Like pretty much every time I record, because I also tweak from there. So I probably got too many presets, to be honest, because I'll like have something I did on like an Aaron James guitar and be like, oh, I like this, and I save it and I pull that up and then I adjust it and then be like, oh yes, I saved that. You know
That's
what
how I
I'm
do.
saying?
Like
like,
when I'm recording my voice, like at home, like that's what I do. I'll save whatever preset it was that I used to, you know, because I'm still learning how to use my machine, pretty much.
Yeah.
As far as like recording goes, but I've always just made tracks on it. But
Let me ask y'all a question, man. Like, and I'll give you an opportunity to choose whether that be for mixing or recording or making beats, right? Like, what is currently in your template? Like, what do you, if you could describe a template of yours, what's in it?
I have an equalizer. I have a compressor. I have a limiter. I have.
Hold on. On what?
On
Yeah.
FL.
No, I'm saying like,
What are you using it on?
yeah,
Like,
you're saying you have a compressor Where? On what?
Is it for your
Oh,
vocals?
well, my compressor is for my lead vocal. My equalizer. Well, I equalize everything. My lead vocals and my backgrounds, but I'm more so use it for my backgrounds because I don't want them to be like too loud. I like to set them. I'm learning how to set them in the right areas when I'm. But yeah.
Go ahead.
No.
Yeah, I got a lead chain, like template situation going on some recording. For the lead chain, it's different than the like background vocals or dubs or whatever. I say for the most part they're all kind of similar. I think what really changes is when it like so for ad libs and harmonies and stuff like that. Of course, for me there's more reverbs and different effects that's actually on the chain itself versus a send. Just because you know textualize it differently. Yeah, but I do agree. Like when it comes to like me producing, like making beats, I'm pretty blank for the most part. Only thing that will be set up like on some template vibes is if I'm doing something in a session and it's routed to Pro Tools.
Yeah, I don't have a session for my beats. Yeah.
When I record lead vocals, I have a 1176. Now, which one changes? But it's usually the silver junk.
Shout out to being black, man. This man, he didn't say revision E, revision A. He didn't say the legacy jump. They made the silver jump, right?
The silver jump be hard. And then like recently, okay, anyway, so yeah. I keep that joint on. I usually always have auto-tune ready on there. Which I don't usually have like I have pretty light settings, like pretty like very natural, not auto-tuney stuff. And then I just dial in from there. Because I print auto-tune when I record, I like to be pretty conservative. Unless I like really know like it's gonna end up like this. You know what I'm saying? I can always add more. But I'm really just trying to like keep it like for me to have to do too much manual tuning on the other side. You know what I mean? Because I'll be recording like singers and stuff. And so there's that. And then I keep a LA2A, you know what I'm saying? The silver joint. I don't even know if there's like a different official name for that one, but like the classic LA2A. That one sometimes interchange with the LA2, like the big green joint. I love like that kind of compressor joint.
I don't know what the fuck.
And then I got Brainworks. So this is in console. I have the So this is in console. So I have the Brainworks V2 digital V2. And the reason I have that on there.
The EQ? Okay.
Yeah, the reason I have that on there is for just sometimes I just do like a maintenance like high pass, like cutting off like 80 or something like that. But it's got a de-esser on it that I be using for like de-essing going in, so it don't be like too much.
So you're printing all of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
To my lead jump. Now, sometimes I'll switch that EQ out for a pull tech to give just like some more body. Let it just be sounding good on the vocal. Now, I would say my last session, bro, how much do you mess with the API channel vision?
I mean, I'm definitely messed with it like the hardware unit. I've never really messed with it the UAD jump. Yeah.
Okay, so that was one of my first Unison preamps. So that was like the gen I was using all the time. Came out with
Unison. My bad, go ahead.
Yeah. But before I really knew what I was doing. Okay. All right, bro. Two things I want to say about this jump that I think is worth exploring. One, when you understand compression,
So
that compressor
That's what I'm trying to learn.
is amazing, bro, and it's so transparent, but like it does the job. It's dope.
Okay.
Okay.
Check it out.
That and
hold on, real quick. Why do you say it's amazing? Like what
It-
characteristics?
It's like one of the most smooth compressors, but it's fast. Like when you hit it, it don't sound like, you know, when you hit like a LA, 1176, like you can like really
Yeah,
hear what it's
yeah.
doing. Like you can have it like fast, but it's like it's just smooth. Like it doesn't really add like a bunch of like saturation or anything, but it gives it like that control. Like when you want something to like bring forward, it's great on like singing lead vocals. Like when you want something, you're just like, yo, something's wrong with it, use that compressor. If something just doesn't feel right, that's the one I think I'm gonna like be
So hold on,
using.
just out of curiosity, you're using the fast, the speed of the API in console to print a recording.
So normally no.
Okay.
Normally when I don't use it much anymore.
Ah, okay.
Like before it was just what I had, so I was just I was mostly EQing stuff. Like mostly like I'm not a like, you know, my ears just are not a fan of a lot of like super like high mid stuff. And I found that like, so I've just been kind of retraining my ears to like appreciate that frequency, because that's often what's missing in my mixes when I listen to other stuff. So I've been like redoing stuff, but that's usually what I was using it for. Then I pulled up by accident the wrong preset on this session I had a couple nights ago, and I discovered this. When you drive the gain, like when you turn the gain all the way up, there's something that happens. Like there's like a clear like click that happens when you drive it all the way up that makes it sound super like pristine. Like it almost gives it like a top end, but not like a harshness to it.
On the API?
Yeah. It was like pretty dope. So
I find it like, my bad. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You got it, bro.
yeah, so I was just excited about that.
API.
You know what I'm saying? So the API, like I feel like the API is good for like that the compression is good for like a singing lead vocal, or maybe like anything that has like a bunch of dynamics that you feel like you need to, that like you're afraid to over compress. Like my first thought would be, okay, I need a couple compressors.
Right.
Now I'm like, yo, I think I might just start with this. Like, let me compress it with this. You know what I'm saying? And then move from there. And you can adjust the speed because it has a fast, medium, and slow setting too, as well as like a hard knee, soft knee. So like it's even malleable there. I've just been liking the way it's sounding now, and so I'm just excited to explore that more. So I just wanted to mention that.
Yeah, I gotta check that one out.
So that's on the lead vocal joint, but that's even before Ableton. And Ableton is just, I just got pretty much blank tracks. All of my tracks go to a vocal group, right? So I have a bunch of lead vocal joints that all go to like one track, and then I got background joints that go to one, and
Right.
ad-lib joints
Yep.
that go to one, like aux.
Yep.
And on there it's just like some more EQ, you know what I'm saying? Like it's for recording especially, it's like super quick, so I can like process a bunch of like doubles and like takes or whatever all at once. So yeah, that's pretty much. And then I got my reverb. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to leave space for niggas to talk, because you get into
You're
the
not
tipping
doing a
talk.
good
Yeah, I seen the time. That's why I fell back.
Yeah,
Like,
bro,
You're not doing a
you
good
asked
job,
what's
man.
in that joint. I'm like, what? Let's go.
Yeah. It's all good, man. I'll skip me, man, because we actually overtime.
Bro, nah, bro. This do not skip you, bro.
Nah, because I love to speak in detail. And so where I was gonna go is I was just gonna say, y'all are talking about like, you know, essentially for like recording and stuff like that. My template for beats, I won't go into detail. I'll just say, you know, I keep, every time I load up a session in my MPC, I have all the sounds I use in most of my beats in a program that's just called I Make Mad Beats. Just, you know, random sounds and effects and stuff like that. I tag. But then I also have like a live drum kit of sounds that I curated or that I recorded myself. Then I also have like a program dedicated for effects. I have like a Juno 106 emulation in there, a Wurlitzer, an electric bass, and as well as just a sine wave to like do some sound design on. Yeah, and then I also have like different genre specific percussion, like trap drums, boom bap drums, a lot. Just I keep all of that in there. Like I love when I can make a beat and all the sounds that I'm thinking about in my head are already on the pads.
Yeah.
And that takes a pretty gangster computer to handle all of that, like to load up all of these VSTs and instruments like simultaneously every time you have a track. But once I get past that, it just makes the creation process very easy. So that's as far as I'll go. My standalone template, it's essentially my same template that I have not standalone, minus like Easy Drummer and Omnisphere. Like everything else, I found ways to like, using like the multi-sampler and the MPC to like maintain the same thing. Yeah.
That's dope.
And as Akai has furthered, like they're really creating standalone versions of popular plugins that I would use in the software world. So like they have their own version of RC20, which I would use to do a lot of sound design. It's just now I can just use it in standalone.
That's dope.
Y'all use a lot of stock joints in y'all other, like, I mean, I know you have to in standalone, but like, do y'all find like with like compressors and EQs, you use like the stock joints, or are you using third parties?
I do
most of the time?
for now, just so I can learn what they are.
I have a few that I use, but I wouldn't say it. Nah, stock plugins aren't taking up like most of my sessions.
Yeah. The Pro Tools EQ1, which is just like a high or low pass or band pass filter, whichever one you choose, just a filter. I use that. The Pro Tools EQ7, I use that. I think at this point you can go ahead and say the Air plugins are Pro Tools stock plugins, right?
Okay, yeah.
Because they do come
Okay.
with, if you get Pro
Okay.
Tools, you get
Yeah,
those,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And I think Pro Tools knows that that's the case, so they're like replacing their own stock with like Air plugins. Yeah, and if you're just talking about that, then yeah, I use a lot of stock plugins in Pro Tools, and definitely a lot of stock plugins in the MPC too.
Yeah, I found myself like actively trying to like use more stock. Super, because like I'm trying to make my back and forth between the computer and the push standalone more and more seamless, so I could do more. And so like I found myself like really going for like stock plugins, and I'm really only using like third party joints like in like a mix for like somebody else, or like recording where I'm definitely in the computer. But like I found that I'm like trying to mix 100% with stock if I can, or like a Max for Live device, which is like integrated for Ableton, so it works like stock plugins.
Yeah.
I feel it.
Bet.
Let me ask you this. One last question. I feel like every producer I've ever talked to has said something like this before. Like, what plugin that maybe you're past it now, either now or at some point, what plugin were you trying to like not overuse? Like you loved it so much, you just feel like you just want to, like some hot sauce you want to put on everything. You know what I'm saying?
Flex.
What'd you say?
Flex and Nexus.
Nexus was definitely one at one point. I think.
As an instrument?
Oh, well, yeah.
Okay.
I
All right.
I think.
I was thinking more like an insert plugin, not
I
necessarily.
already know my answer. Microshift,
Yeah. Microsoft is right. Yeah.
bro.
Yeah,
I was putting Microshift.
You put me on Microshift,
and,
for
and
real.
before Microshift, it was Devil Lock.
Hey,
Yeah,
Devil Lock. That's one of my favorite ones. Devil Lock, and honestly, Little Plate, man. I used that reverb like everybody was like, bro. I remember when we were talking about it, you were like, that's a dark reverb. I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Like I was using that one a lot. Yeah.
For sure.
Microshift, I think, takes the cake on that one.
Microshift. I think for me, You know which one I thought was gonna be that one, but it wasn't? Soothe. I thought I was gonna be like, bro, I'm using this on everything. But like after maybe like 2 weeks of having it, I was like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? But you know what plugin I use way more now than I thought I was ever gonna use it? Spectral Shaper. Absolutely.
Hey, yeah, you put me on that
bro.
one.
Spectral Shaper, bro.
You put me on that one. That's
Like
fire.
the energy you expressed for the API, that's the energy I got for Spectral Shaper. Like, yeah, we've seen either multiband or specific frequency compressors before. None of them do this like as simply and as transparently as Spectral Shaper. I don't understand. I mean, I understand what's happening, but I don't understand why it's happening so much better in Spectral Shaper than with other, other plugins that do something similar.
You know you do use Spectral Shaper a lot. But I'm surprised you didn't say knock.
Yeah. I mean, that's because I'm not trying to not use that. I don't have that concern.
He's like, this is like this is the whatever.
I have zero guilt about not being on everything. Hey, I'm going to go in and say this. Decap, you created one of the greatest plugins for a hip hop. I mean, any producer, but I'm representing hip hop producers ever. Like, let me be clear. I was telling Kid this yesterday. I was like, yo. Like, I've been collecting drum breaks for the past 20 plus years. And it's so many of those drum breaks that I'm like, I don't think I'll ever use these drum breaks. You know what I'm saying? But when you drop Knock, and then, there's between Knock and there's several other plugins too. But specifically Knock has all the things without doing too much and too little in one plugin. I've never seen a plugin that is this is exactly what you need and nothing else more than Knock. You know what I'm saying? And it makes me go through old drums I thought I wasn't gonna use. And once you just turn up that clipper, you pull down that low pass on it a little bit, add a little bit of the sub, tune it to whatever the key of the song is, adjust the attack and the punch for the transients.
Down to the science.
Bro, that's one of the greatest plugins in the history of plugins. Big shout out Decap. You know what I'm saying?
Fam, honestly, I use the clip on pretty much any time I'm using Knock, but my favorite feature is the air junk, bro. That vintage air, bro, oh my God, it's just saved so many dull situations. Like,
I feel that.
The air, the vintage setting, bro.
Yeah, I gotta mess with
Anything
that
vintage
one,
is just amazing.
I think the black box is another one for me. Black box.
I'm gonna be real, bro. I got the black box junk. And y'all was hyping it.
You ain't rocking with it?
I'm not saying I don't rock with it. I just haven't found what makes it special to me yet. You know what I'm saying? I probably just need some more time with it to mess with it and trying to get some settings. But sometimes right now it just be kind of like, like it's cool. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't feel magical to me. I be seeing people talk about that. I be like, it's cool. You know what I'm saying?
It like, I feel like I use it how like people use, or maybe you use like Saturn.
Yeah,
you just need to like give something. Like it's like it's really utility for me when I use it. But honestly, I haven't been using that junk as late because I've been not using third-party plugins. But it went at first. It was like, yo, I'm making my 808s crazy, and then it turned into like, I just need like a little something more here.
Is it multi-band?
You can buy a
They have a
multi-band
version,
version.
yeah.
Okay, is it mid-side?
No, I'm sorry. It's you could buy the mid-side version.
Okay.
But it's not multi-band. No.
Okay. Yeah, that's the thing with me. When it comes to saturation, like, I'm aiming at certain parts of a sound. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's hard for me to just be like, saturation. Like,
Yeah.
That makes sense why you a Saturn. Yeah. I got you.
Absolutely.
Saturn.
Or the ozone, man. The isotopes, like, saturation joint where it's like multi-band.
Exciter joint. Yeah.
And you can choose what, like tube, retro, analog. Like you can choose which. They all have different characters. That's, man.
Bro, that's Sam. I remember you was trying to play me. You know what I'm saying? when I was talking about the new features in live, but they came out with like a multi-band saturator joint that is like that, but it has like a lot more.
It's like that. All right.
It has more types of saturation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like way more curves, and it's bro, that shit is crazy. It's a crazy sound design tool, and that's I've been using that.
Ableton
like
really
crazy.
be biting off stuff, man. It's all love though.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Ableton, you know what I mean? Maybe they are, but they definitely
they
got
are.
their own take on it. Like there is nothing that does what Roar does right now. All in one
Roar's
plugin.
fire.
It's all right, man. It's decent. Man.
But I feel like that's how I feel like Saturn, like especially because by the time I got it, I got Saturn 2 is out, and like when I just be going through like and this is gonna be crazy for me to be saying this, but I be going through the presets and I be seeing what they do. I be like, bro, this is like too much going on, bro. Like it's all kind of like side chaining
curves
and
and
like
yeah.
stuff going on. I'm like, bro, this is like a lot.
Nah, I'll say this, man. Like I agree. Specifically with Saturn, like it can. One thing that like I think I love about this era of engineers / producers is like we're really understanding how much graphic user interface matters.
Yeah,
You know, I think before, you know, I think the biggest shift I've seen change over the last 15 years is that, you know, 15 years ago, if you didn't know how to use something, you just weren't smart enough.
Yeah.
You just, like, you know, it was no faults of the design of the thing. It was just, you were not an intellectual. You don't know, you dumbass. You know what I'm saying? And like now it's like people are valuing the GUI more and valuing like how much that affects the creative process. And they're finding ways to make things simpler and more effective. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, some things you do want to get scientific with it. Other things is just like, that's why I love Pultecs, right? That's why I love a Pultec. Some things it's just like, nah, like you don't, you know, you want to be able to carve something out and it not, you don't have to go into science mode. You can stay in the creative mode. And I have seen Saturn come off like that. And that's why at the end of the day, my G, and this is, I'm gonna keep it real with y'all, you know what I'm saying? That's why, shout out to all of these plugins, but at the end of the day, nothing beats hardware. Like, when it comes to this kind of thing, specifically things like clipping and saturation and all that stuff, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's the thing I love, man. Some of these things are in front of me, I'll use like once in 6 months, right? But when I actually use it, it'd be like night and day how quick and easy it was to get the sound that I was aiming for. So, you know, like that's where, when I find that things get particularly too much going on in the software world, I just turn one of these machines on and run something through it.
You save CPU by doing so.
Period.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Not that I care about CPU. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I just want to say this. We're not talking about this, but you know what I'm saying? This is relevant to this podcast.
Yeah.
It's fuck Pro Tools. Cause like,
bro,
I was on the job. I was on the job, bro.
Yeah.
I was on the job. I was recording all the brightest elementary school kids of Shelby County
Damn.
at the Cannon Center, and I just knew, bruh. Thankfully, this was during like the sound check, the dress rehearsal. I'm gonna record the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? Make sure I'm good. And in previous years, like these are the kinds of projects where I do like using Pro Tools for some stuff, and this is one of those things, especially because like something like this, I'm going to use RX to like clean things, and the integration between RX and Pro Tools is like amazing. So I'm like, let me just record in here. And you know, previous years it was straight. I ain't changed my computer. I ain't changed my operating system. Like, I made sure I had like 150 gigs of empty space on my hard drive, like all of that, bro. Same board, literally same board as last year.
Yeah.
Like my setup has not changed. Bro, that joint quit in the middle of, not quit, but you know, did the, we cannot process,
Bro.
you know what I'm saying? Wi-Fi is all the stuff that y'all gonna say, did you do this? I did it. You know what I mean? Like, and I was like, bro, I can't do it. This like, you know what I'm saying? I haven't had that problem when I do that gig. I ain't got no plugins in this session. It's just tracks.
Yeah.
I
know.
I had 21 tracks.
Hey man, just for the sake of objectivity here, what you just said is false, man. You know what I'm saying? You said, all this stuff ain't changed, but something did change. Your computer is older now. Your processor can't handle as much. You're in a laptop compressed up against a fan, and these new joints ain't set up to cool the fan properly. If it's a year older, there's been degradation to your processor, et cetera, et cetera. So I am still a nerd, so I have to point this out.
All of that could be true, but you Pro Tools, and so it's about trust. Like I can.
That man said, "Hold on, bro," but my heart.
I put my heart into this shit, nigga.
Like, my computer's over, but I can still pull up Ableton and pull up 20 tracks and record this shit without it stopping. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like,
that's because that's a lesser software. It has less taxation, bro.
Hey, man, I don't know.
The shit is not reliable.
Okay.
I feel it because the same thing at the Pro joint. Like,
yeah, bro. Like, and you had the M1,
bro. And what really pissed me off though, throughout the whole rehearsal, I was good. So when we actually started, it's like, nah, bro. I'm like, come on, man. But yeah,
bro. So I thought y'all might want that update. You know what I'm saying? So. Yeah. Anyway, I think
check the comments. Everybody said they didn't want that update.
Bro, everybody can read the comments. Nobody said that, bro.
Nah, bro. The certain comments only the administrator can read, bro. I be protecting y'all. They be talking trash about y'all. I be like, man, I gotta keep my people inspired. So I don't let y'all see that.
Inspired. All right. Well, I think we can conclude this conversation.
Yeah. On that note, man. My name is I Make Mad Beats. This is Type Beat. We are at Outer Space, an unapologetic studio. Hey, real quick, if you have a chance, you have a second, pull up your phone, go to your app store. If you're iOS or Android device, doesn't matter. Go to your Google Play Store and look up Unapologetic World. There you will find the Unapologetic World app. It is designed by James Dukes, who is a good friend of mine. And you should definitely download that and hop into the world of Unapologetic. My name is I Make Mad Beats, and my cast today is
LJ1S.
Unique, period.
Kid Maestro, exclamation.
Indeed. On that note, man, y'all stay dangerous, stay safe, do both or do neither. Peace.
Peace.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.
Bitch, are you jealous?
Oh shit, here we go again.